So
Yes.
we were on the train, and we changed to our little pajamas in the nighttime, put on our little starch dresses the next day. And we got to a place, and the conductor came back and said that all the colored people had to move to another car. And that was my first wound.
Racial.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was something wrong with me and us. Okay. And we got to Los Angeles. And I forgot to tell you, I talk a lot.
Oh, that's fine. Just keep going.
We lived in a neighborhood that was an unself-conscious UN neighborhood. Filipinos, Cubans, Mexicans, Japanese, you name it, us blacks, you just name it, we had it, okay? So the kids, all of us went to school together, all right? So we were pretty protected by that. Though as family members died, and we either took their bodies back to Alabama or went to Alabama for funerals, and the family would have to send Margaret, one of our young chums, with us so that we wouldn't go into places that we shouldn't go into. Like we should go up to the top of the theater for the coloreds and, you know, don't drink out of the fountains and whatever.
So it wasn't on paper, it was just understood.
No. Oh. This was in Alabama now.
Oh, Alabama.
When we go
yes.
to Alabama
okay.
and visit family. So I was made aware of it there because of the signs and because of the care they took at sending people with us so that we wouldn't get in trouble. So when getting back to Los Angeles, there were no signs, but we knew.
Just knew.
We knew where not to and where was possible to. So it was up south. It just, somebody phrased it up south.
Up south.
Uh-huh.
Many Southerners did move to Los Angeles. That is
oh,
true.
Honey.
Yes,
oh,
that is
yes,
true.
Indeed.
But I remember when I lived in Los Angeles in the mid-'60s that it was very common to see Japanese people living with middle-income black people in black communities. Now, you were there, of course, when World War II began. What did you see pertaining to the Japanese people, or were there Japanese people? You said it was racially mixed in your community. Japanese people were there, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Yes, and what
Mama
happened
and Papa
to them?
lived right next door. They must have been 190 years old. Sweetest couple. And so we all went to school together. Then all of a sudden, after December 7th, 1941, first we heard in school about people breaking up china that was made in Japan. And even then I knew that was stupid, right? Like they're breaking up French, whatever. I don't know. Okay.
Yes.
So all of a sudden we're seeing that our neighbors and friends are putting their refrigerators out to sell, their beds out to sell, and they're getting rid of as much as possible so they could be ready for when the buses came to take them to the concentration camp. That's my second wound. I knew through that how dastardly those representing the government and how low they could sink. They did not arrest Italians, and they did not arrest Germans. Okay, I didn't see any colored signs and white signs, but I knew where I could and couldn't go. So I was educated in that area.
At an early age.
Now, at 41, 10, I would have been, what?
11?
10.
10? That's right, December 31st. I have to remember that, yes, yes. Well, that is very significant because you're the first person who has spoken about the Japanese internment, but Los Angeles definitely was an area where that happened. Absolutely.
They put them in, I think, Santa Anita racetrack. They put them in. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, unbelievable is right. And it just, well, I think as African Americans, we certainly know what the government can do.
Well, we knew what people could do. We might even, for those of us who were interested in history, we might even have known what the government could do. But as a kid of 11, I don't think I'd be where I was if the results of racism hadn't lived through it. So it's maybe the germ.
And it certainly made you a better interpreter, didn't it?
I don't know about that. I don't think I would have been here without the experiences, or if I had been able to overlook the experiences, I might have been able to go in and sing something that didn't necessarily have to do with the life that we're living.
Despite the encounters with racist and prejudiced people, how have you gotten past the word all so that you can judge people as individuals rather than as a group? For example, the encounter, your first wound on the train when the conductor asked your family and all black people to move from that car to another one. How does one get past judging people as a group?
I don't know. I swear I don't. I try not to, because especially in learning about our history, about the Underground Railroad and how people worked to help slaves get away, and how they built places to hide the slaves so they could get away. And I remember meeting Jimmy Driftwood. And are you familiar with his work?
No, I'm not.
He was a history teacher and lived in Arkansas. And he would write songs in history to interest his students. Here we go again, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And
you may know a song that he wrote. I'm looking for I went to...
Okay, you can turn. It's
okay.
Second, ready?
And I had, ready?
Yes, thank you.
I had a Chicago family who would camp every summer, and they met Jimmy and Cleta Driftwood. And they said how sweet they were, and they visited them every summer. And so once at the Newport Folk Festival, I ran into Jimmy and Cleta Driftwood. And he came on with his accent, and the hairs on my back stood up. I was ready for whatever's coming, okay?
yes.
He seemed like a sweetheart, and you must come and visit us. Years and years later, someone was talking of him on the radio, and he was up there in age. I had decided years ago that I want to do a children's album, but I don't want the sweet, syrupy things that would give children sugar diabetes, okay? So I thought Jimmy Driftwood's tall tale songs. You may have remembered, we fired our gun and they commenced running. Wasn't
Yes.
as many as it was a while ago. Run so fast the hounds couldn't catch them. Down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. So I thought, I went down and Cleta made tapes for me. So at some point I want to do a record of his. But I had to work really hard to get past that accent. And so
Resonated,
today it is, people give you clues.
Yes.
They do. They always do. And so I sort of wait for the clue to see whether I should back up.
And are you optimistic about America's racial future?
With the incredible ingenuity that the bad guys have at changing up on the rules, I just know it's going to be a very long struggle. And I have to believe that we're going to reach some point, because I can't give it over to them. I can't just lie down and say, just step on all over me. So I have to have some kind of confidence in the fact that inch by inch, foot by foot, day by day, we will improve this thing.